My name is Nico Klerk. I am a change agent. I like to apply change principles with groups or individuals and in their specific situation. My work is all about development and growth, but it can also be, as a point of departure from a crisis or another situation. My academic background, I would like to elaborate a bit on that. I'm in my final phase of my PhD studies and I focus on the pilgrimage concept. And I use that as a metaphor for life, in my own life and then also in the lives of others. The question is, what will lead us to a higher level of consciousness? And what will lead us to more insights into our own lives, quality of life, how we understand life, our own perspectives. We are actually in a world where we have to work on the development of our perspectives as new knowledge becomes available. And then we have to create a path to this new destiny where we have a new insight, a perspective, an understanding, a higher level of consciousness. We've got to make it happen. And this is what my work as a change agent is all about. I would like to start with how I understand my ideal client, and I would like to ask 3 questions. Are you excited about the human potential? Are you really excited about your own potential and where it may take you? Are you prepared to go on this road less traveled, to use Scott Peck's words? Are you prepared for the unknown? And if you don't fear that and that it's holding you back and you get excited about it, then we're in business. Are you open and receptive for the flow of information and then the changes that will obviously bring about? Are you willing to embrace it? And this is really asking for a lot of emotional maturity that we're going to look at. It's all about the renewal of old paradigms, old way of thinkings, and opening ourselves up for new possibilities. Now, to bring this new thought paradigm into practice, I have to tell you and give you a bit more background about myself, who I am and what I have to offer in this regard. First of all, working with change processes, I became aware of the huge contribution and big element of effective communication. Effective communication really differs from our traditional concept of communication. And we've got to open ourselves up for new possibilities and new understandings of life and ourselves. And that's how I got involved with NASA. I developed a close relationship with them. And I'm very comfortable working with their model of in-house people management and the 4-dimensional program with which they work, and I'm really very comfortable and excited about the whole NASA environment and the possibilities that the concept and metaphor of space and no limits, no boundaries like space, that can open up to us in group work, team work, corporate work, individual work, therapy work. Therefore, I've also linked up with the most well-known famous philosophy in the world, Jürgen Habermas, School of Philosophy at Frankfurt University. And his communicative action theory and social criticism theory, a lot of that information is available on Google. But to base my approach then on a fundamental philosophical foundation as well then as a practical environment, which NASA I think is the perfect environment. It just makes sense that you are forced into a more improved, effective communication level at a place like NASA. The same like in any scientific laboratory was so, which we are able to avoid in normal daily behavior or circumstances. We can get away with a lot of stuff which they in that situation can't, therefore we can learn a lot there. I also think about the words of Plato. It is important for me, to know what I don't know. And I would like to repeat that. It's important for me to know what I don't know, and maybe to contemplate about those words. The subconsciousness, the next point, and our intuition, we should explore that. I mean, it's a given fact that there's more than 90% of my self-knowledge and my knowledge about my environment, my insights, they are all available in my subconsciousness. And I've got to learn and explore ways how to access that information. So this is my world, and in that kind of become aware of, it's a bigger world in which I live in than it used to be. So there's a higher level of awareness of a bigger reality that's around us. There's a lot of communication in which to tap into, if I'm willing, if I open myself up. If I accept, for instance, that there's nothing like coincidence, then I've got to explore the meaning and the symbolism and whatever is happening in my life, and start reading and interpreting that kind of information. So all of this is obviously grounded in my faith as a Christian, and that's something to take note of, but I'm also open to work across boundaries, spiritual, cultural, whatever. Very used to that over a couple of years. Another facet of my background is the narrative approach. Got training there from Michael White, who passed away a couple of years earlier, and a very intensive training in exploring the storyline of an individual or a group, to read the current storyline, and then how to create options, new choices, new pattern of thoughts, and then start writing the next chapter, and actually taking control of one's own life story. The next one is emotional intelligence. The 22 focus areas of emotional intelligence. I've been doing workshops about this for many, many years, 15, 16 years in the corporate environment, so I'm well known to that field. New positive psychology, if we think about concepts like developing my level of optimism in life, my energy level, my authentic happiness, concepts like that, it makes me very excited, and sometimes we've got to go and get some answers there. Coaching, I've did all the qualifications that you can get. It was done by Results Coaching Systems in collaboration with the New York University's Business School. The concept of neuro-leadership, which is one of the youngest fields, research about the latest brain knowledge that we have, and then to integrate that with personal and leadership development. It will be negligence if we leave out all the information available to address certain situations in which an individual or a group may end up. Brain Gym, very exciting, to learn more about the brain functioning and how it can actually communicate with our own brain and stimulate our own brain when necessary. Integration exercises, practical physical exercises, like for instance the integration of the brain, where you put your hands together like this, you bring it in like that, which you used to do as kids, and to make this a habit. And actually what we're doing is, with this kind of thing, we're sending a message to our brain in terms of using the full capacity of the brain. And so we get others in terms of stimulating lateral thinking, visioning, creativity, or calmness, etc., etc. And there's like a very important one, like to block negative energy. When you're in a conflict situation with someone and you can be very, very upset afterwards, it's necessary to sort of read these communication skills with your brain in terms of then bring some blocks, barriers up in terms of what to allow into my brain and what not. Kinesiology, very exciting field, also in terms of communication, non-verbal communication through my body, my muscles, and the meaning of that. Then there's so much truth to discover there, there's so much knowledge to discover there. The human potential development movement broke up through the years into several different fields, and I'm not going to mention all of them here, but it's worthwhile to take note of some of them that can be applicable in a certain situation. Philosophy, I just want to get back to philosophy and say the function of using philosophy, sometimes bringing it in, is just to stimulate thinking. And we've got to keep in mind the words of Edward de Bono, saying, for instance, in his autobiography, we've got to accept it, we are actually lazy to think. Accept that. A human being is lazy to think, and especially when it gets close to home, or it's creating a lot of uncomfort, in our being, we tend to procrastinate, to avoid, to deny, or whatever. And part of my work is then to create awareness and bring it into the consciousness. Quantum physics, quantum mechanics, very exciting field in terms of the management of our energy fields and how we can actually influence that, can take control of it, but obviously then we'll have to prepare to study it and also to get more information about that into our lives. So I would like to conclude this with a psychosomatic field. Our body, my body, is communicating to me every day. And if I can listen to it, understand it, and understand that there's specific signs, specific things happening. It's like stress, develop stress, and then you feel it in your neck, your shoulders, your stomach, wherever. It's the same thing. It's stress, but there's a lot of other things that we can also learn from the psychosomatic field. So I want to conclude then with how do I do this? It can be a workshop, it can be an individual session, and then obviously now with the online technology available, which I'm very comfortable with, I had to overcome a lot of preconceptions about this in my own life, but I'm very comfortable with it. The thing is, I would like to start with the need of the client. To determine that is the very first step, and to put in a lot of effort sometimes to get clarity about that as point of departure. And from there you will determine what sort of strategy, what you need from all these things, all these skills and tools available today. So I listen carefully, ask a lot of questions, and then in that process determine the need. The last thought that I would like to bring in is it's becoming very popular, but for many years now I've been taking people to the Namib Desert, which I know very well, and then facilitate their team development or individual development, etc., as well as to the Drakensberg. Taking groups there is absolutely adventure and a privilege always. Thank you.